Hey folks, so one of the things I discovered a few years back when I was comparing the overdrives within the Boss MS-3 to my physical analog pedals that I have here was that I could get a really good OCD, Fulltone OCD overdrive sound with this Natural Overdrive setting that you can see here. And these parameters are set to match my physical pedal on the low peak mode in a configuration I'll show here of what we can call it like a T, easily rememberable configuration. So here is an example of me playing and switching back and forth between loop 1, which is my physical pedal down here, and you may not even heard me switch there to FX2, which you can see here on the MS-3 software turning on the Natural Overdrive. Let me mute the mic so you don't hear the string. And here's my clean sound. Now switching between the physical pedal and the Boss MS-3. All right, mic's going off. Let's play a bit. I'm going to roll the volume back halfway, or maybe to about 7 on the neck pickup here. There's full. Just backing it off, cleaning it up, so I can show you that it cleans up well with the MS-3 natural distortion as well. Arguably, most of that tone is coming from the speakers, character, and the amp or whatnot. So again, here's the clean sound. It's about as neutral as you can get. All right, physical pedal, MS-3. Okay, so let's now play both of these, real pedal and MS-3 sim, natural distortion, into a dirty amp sound. So that's my amp sound, which is actually a preamp in loop 3 that then goes on to my power amp stage and my speakers mic'd in the other room. And the OCD on top. Oops! I can very honestly forget which one I'm on, or should I say usually not know which one I'm on. When we're going into the dirty amp sound here, in the most extreme case of when I clean it up and go to my coil split, I would have to try pretty hard, but I can hear it. So there you go. So this has been very, very convincing. In general, if you see my other videos where I go through all the gain overdrives in this and stacking gain stages and whatnot in my deep dive series, check that out. I generally am always using the overdrives of the Boss MS-3 into my OCD pedal or overdrives on my board, pushing them in a certain way with some more drive and EQ into my physical pedal. And that's the way that I've really always used them, because on their own, I can't say that they were better or enough to knock any real pedals off the board when I actually have room for them. So But this was the one I wanted to kind of circle back to and share again in this series and tradition of what I'm trying to do here, which is get the most out of this Boss MS-3 unit. So one last example here that I'm going to do is I'm going to push a tube screamer, you'll see here, in front of the physical OCD and the simulated OCD. And there it is with the screamer off and on. And I'll switch to the other view here so you can see a little more clearly when that Boss MS-3 internal distortion switches from the physical pedal. So I would actually use this to replace the OCD if I didn't have it. And if I didn't feel like I would miss having the effects block option 1, which I use for other things like octave and whatnot, I would very convincingly use this. But I like to maximize my Boss MS-3 for effects because we do have these pedals. I just thought it was very worthy to share that that Natural Overdrive matches really well to this setting on the Fulltone OCD pedal, which love it or hate it. I think some people that maybe don't understand it fully or want to maximize the distortion out of it are maybe disappointed because I feel like what it shines at is low gain and also that Marshall sound, which you can actually see on another one of my videos where I'm using the neural amp modeling profile, the OCD, and the Blue Guitar amp 1 going after an old Marshall sound that I used to have. So I hope this helps you out, and if you've ever been curious about the OCD pedal for this particular setting that you see here, this actually I've been playing a real long time, and I could close my eyes and go back and forth, and I couldn't tell a lot of the time. There's extreme nuances that I could push to if I really wanted to challenge myself to see if I could hear a difference. But that really surprised me out of this because a lot of the other overdrives I can't say I would use on their own. But then again, I keep surprising myself when I push to find out these things. So now I have a backup preset of my OCD pedal on the board if somebody falls and cracks their head on it or spills a beer on it. Okay. Take care.